Hi guys and welcome to another rambling. There are a few changes today because I'm actually not even that happy with the current setup as it is right now of this video, as you're seeing, because I am trying to record it with my camcorder again, because then I don't have the time restriction that I have to keep an eye on, even though this shouldn't be a problem today. I don't really have too much topics, and the audio is a different one because I'm using the Zoom H1 again, because my other microphone would be up here, but I use that only for the reviews and videos where I am in front of the other set. But this one is a little bit more comfortable for me, but actually in terms of setup or setting things up, it's a little bit more annoying because the lighting is different, because usually I have all the lights from this side. Now I have one here, but it could be once again that I see like half off. But I thought after playing for way more than half an hour with the current light setup, sound setup, camera, where I position it so I have the space to sit here properly, and yeah, I will just leave it as it is, and maybe after watching this video and once I see how this worked out and if it was worth the setup, because it would have been so much easier if I would have just used the other set to go to this side, because this one is a whole setup as it is. But I wanted to have this because this is the only one where I can stretch my feet out and be a little bit more comfortable. If I'm talking for like less time, 50 minutes, it's just way more comfortable and relaxing for me, and that's the reason. So yeah, this video, but like I said, won't be that long because I only have like 4 or 5 topics and I'm not even quite sure how long each will take, but I would say let's just start with that. So the first topic is one that I actually got asked for on a comment to give her my reply, and I made like 2 comments or so, but I said I promised that I will talk about it a little bit more in depth here in the rambling this week. So actually I will just do that if I can, because I'm gonna read you the post or the comment, so there are no misunderstandings what she was asking for, what I replied, and what I will add to that. So give me a second. Shouldn't be so hard to find. Where is it? And that's great preparation. Okay, I think I have it. So before I'm actually going to talk about that, what I wanted to talk about is I am very happy for the many butterflies and sprinkles that I got, because I didn't expect, because I get it, the video was for the hardcore fans, 50 minutes almost. It was like 48:59, at least that's what it shows me on YouTube, and I got way more than I expected. So let's read that, and then you can make your assumption and I will give you mine. So I'm more of a watcher rather than a commenter, but I love the comment, so I thought I'd let you know. I think you have mentioned this in a prior rambling, but do you think that the sellout thing is inevitable the more popular you become? I'm a fan of Ash Taylor, but his style, however, are my favorite reviewers and Geeky Ranted for your... Oh, it's actually cut up. Let me get this once again. I'm a fan of Ash Taylor for his art style. However, you are my favorite reviewer and Geeky Ranted for your honesty. I would like to find some more butterfly sprinkles by. So what I answered here then was, well, I think the main intention of the channel is very important. If you just treat it as an art or a hobby, you can stay big and honest. But the issue is always, once you go big, you get opportunities which you usually come along with money, and nobody likes to say no to money. And I see many how kinda wanna stay honest but lose out of money, so they just start taking sponsored videos. Once that starts, you'll go down this downward spiral. For some also, their own channel is also a stepping stone, something that I see could happen on Ash, and for example his phone house video on the 7 collaboration. I didn't really like that so much, but I felt like it was a little bit of selling out already. I think I'll add that topic to my list, blah 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 blah. Then she answered, wow, thanks for replying, but money is great and useful. I do understand your point. I think I would struggle if I couldn't be real. If I was in your position personally as a viewer, I slightly switch off. And when a sponsored blah, I understand bills need to be paid. I'm well and truly out of fence. I'm looking forward to discussing this. Then I answered, and I'm sorry if that is a little bit long, but I think it has to be told as it is, so nothing gets taken out of context. The next thing would be, then I replied, I'd be struggling as well if I could get over myself even doing it. I think I'd only do it if the product is really good, but even that sounds fake saying it now. Good thing is I don't have to pay any bills with YouTube. I definitely wouldn't be able to from the little I make of it. Anyways, that's why it's easy for me to stay honest, and it's fantastic that the brands or the press agencies, to be precise, let me be honest. No one ever told me what to say or what not. I love that allows me to be true and a bit harder if needed to the product if it demands it. Otherwise, I'd have to let the brand go. Couldn't keep doing it, holding to help back. Then she replied, sorry if you are still sticking here. I don't think that sounds fake at all, although it could come back and bite you and burn you if you suddenly see a series of sponsored posts. I totally agree with that. If you're not doing it to pay your bills, then you could be more picky, which is great. This is why I'm keep up the good work. So I think you got it. I've stretched it a little bit longer because I actually didn't want it to read this, and I think this was obvious because I hadn't prepared it. But okay, here's a little bit more on a take of that. The thing about the going big and selling out is the one thing. It really depends, and I said that in the comment, that if you do YouTube, and there are a lot of different people and different intentions why they start. Mostly the younger generation now, the like 10, 12, 15, 16-year-old YouTubers, they do it for the fun. But I think they also have a few different reasons which are absolutely legit. They do it because they see this maybe as a possible future job or something like that, because being in the TV industry or in the YouTube industry, which could in the next few years maybe become something really big and maybe even kind of get rid of TV in some way, because I mostly consume my stuff over YouTube these days and not even that much over TV, instead of, okay, the TV shows, yes, but no like real reality TV and so on. So they want to start right early up front, which is great, because this is something that I especially regret that I haven't started at least like 3 or at least 2 years earlier, because then things would have been just more fresh and way less competition. But you have to start right early so you can be in your prime time, like let's say in your 20s, starting early, let's say maybe at around 18 to maybe 22, and then upwards. There are those prime years where you will be in your best position. You will have the best knowledge then. You are still young enough to attract all the younger viewers, but also some slightly older ones. And I think if you are at the point at, let's say, 25 or so, then you can get the whole array. You can get the younger people because you are still young enough to relate to them, but be already mature enough to relate to the older ones. Because I see my stats and I definitely already go more towards the older generation. I think my average would be at around 30 or up higher. I don't think too many, like, let's say 10-year-old or 15-year-olds, there is something in my throat, would watch my content because they want the fancy stuff and all that. And that, not really that much what I do, but that's not the point here. The thing is, you have to start early to make that. But of course, there are a lot of YouTubers that start quite late. Like, for example, what is he called? I forgot his name. Jim's Review Room. He started, I'm not quite sure how old he is, but he's still below sub 30. And he was in a corporate job. He didn't like it so much and he wanted to do something that makes him happy, that satisfies him, that is fun, but also can make him a living. So he got completely off the corporate job, started doing YouTube full time. And for him, for example, it's important that he gets big, but gets the money. But what I like really a lot about him, because he's doing this, let's say like 2 years, a little bit longer now, and he's still absolutely true to himself. He doesn't really do any sponsored videos, and what he says, the only way or the only point where he will make sponsored videos is in his vlogs and not in his reviews, because he thinks it doesn't fit if you make an advertisement in a review. And this is completely, for example, the difference to most of the other YouTubers like Linus or pretty much every bigger YouTuber who has these sponsored ads at the beginning or at the end of the video. So this is something I really appreciate about his content, because he buys pretty much all of his content, and when he doesn't buy it and gets it from a company, he always calls that out. So I think he's one of the few ones who could become big without selling out. But there are so many, and I would say the most dangerous ones to watch out, where I don't always trust their honesty, are the kind of middle big ones. So let's say everything below 10,000. They are so small, they don't really get too much recognition. They don't get a chance to be sponsored. And the big ones, let's say like TLD Today, Austin Evans, Linus Tech Tips, with 1 million or 2 million subscribers, they are so big, they don't need to lie anything anymore about. They are so big and so important to the brands that they give them the sponsored videos, but they can actually be honest about the product and bash it and get away with that because they have this big reputation. So that is fine. Of course, some of them still could take advantage of that and throw in those best gadgets to $50, best $100. And I think these are pretty much all stuff that they get for free. And then they make one video to get rid of them, and they got a little bit maybe of money, or just at least got the product for free. But these are products, once you get to know them, because on every channel I see those, I know they are pretty much sponsored, but I'm fine with that. I just skip them, I just don't watch them. Or what is actually cool about, for example, Ed from TechSource, he puts a thumbnail up there and all the items that he shows are visible there. And if I see all that, I just check that, see the thumbnail, see, okay, nothing interesting for me, don't have to see that, it's fine. But no. Let's get to the crux here. If you are a channel, let's say 50,000, 100,000 or 200,000, and you maybe haven't quite made it yet, but you definitely, I would say if you are at 50 to 100, 150,000, you are at the point where you can make a living off YouTube, but it will be hard and you really have to make your best to make a proper living. And then you definitely have to rely on sponsored videos. And the issue is, at that size, you get already a lot of attention, you have a big reputation already, and you will get opportunities. And as I said, the more the opportunity arrives, the more you will take it. And I've actually seen a few channels, and I'm not mentioning them, and I'm not going into specifics, but I noticed they make more and more sponsored videos because that pays the bills. They still make a few videos, but the issue is, once you get maybe over that threshold, or don't keep the balance, because it's really important, I think, to keep the balance between sponsored videos and actual reviews. And I'm not talking about reviews that are sponsored or something like that. I mean the sponsored videos like those 100 or doing completely odd reviews, because there was an item that I completely lost my voice. I'm so sorry. I will maybe cut that out because that was hard. I completely lost my voice. There was an item on a YouTube review that I saw. I've never heard of it, and it sounded really interesting. But what made me really suspicious and slightly pissed me off, and if that channel makes a little bit more of these kind of things, then I will definitely drop it, because that was not okay. He was talking for 10 minutes about explaining the device, praising it, and I was sold. I liked it a lot. It sounded great, but not once did he tell any word about the pricing. So I did the research, I checked the site and everything, and it was something ridiculously high priced, like $600 or $700 or something like that. And if I see such a product, I know this has to be sponsored, and this is completely okay. I would definitely do this as well to get this product for free, so a sponsored video. But I would at least mention the price, and it was more like an advertisement. It wasn't like a review. He only explained stuff, how it works and all that, but he didn't really review, because there is a big difference if you do a video. For example, these are what most of the hands-on videos do, and maybe they are just not allowed to do that, but they talk about all the device has. For example, the HTC 10 hands-on video were a very good example. All the videos told the same. They all said it has a this and this camera, it has a this and this display. They all talked about, but they didn't make any judgment at all. Because if I would have had the device and hands-on, if I would have been allowed to, I would have said, it has this and this display, it looks, it has this and this sound, it looks, or something like that. But they didn't judge at all. And this is what I've seen on this channel, and I've seen a few more videos of these already. And yes, I'm definitely sounding like a jerk here right now. Always, and I do this a lot, and I get it. I call out so many channels, or not calling them directly out, but smack about bigger YouTubers selling out. But as I said, this was not a topic from me. I got it, and I wanted to share my experience because I am one of the ones that absolutely doesn't rely on the money on YouTube. It's great, and if I would get more, I could get more devices on my own, or I could upgrade my gear and things like that, and I wouldn't have to rely on this crappy microphone setup that I have right now, because the way it works is just a little bit odd. And I definitely will have to find a different solution, like a hot shoe on the because actually see, the microphone is exactly here, just right out of frame, if it's out of frame. And I call these out so many times because I think the path YouTube is going, because of AdSense just doesn't pay a lot. Because if I see, for example, my views over the last few months raised noticeably, but revenue didn't. Because revenue, if I would have to imagine how much more views I would have to get to even think about making a living of it, and I will never do that, because for me that's just not a stable enough, not a secure enough job. Because this is for the ones that make scripted videos, they make great videos that could maybe with YouTube have a stepping stone. And this is something that I also told in the comment. YouTube can for many people be a stepping stone, because if I would, for example, do great videos now, or not me, a younger person, let's say 20, he's on university or something like that, in college, whatever, and he makes these videos and he gets attention, he could get a job on a TV set somewhere. He could make background work, he could make, a lot of them do wedding videos, you could make a lot of stuff with that. But I'm way past that, because I don't have the editing skills. As you can see, everything from what I do is very bare bones, and for me, that's just not a question. That's why I don't see me getting some kind of losing my integrity, because I don't make money off it, and I don't rely on it. That is important. I think these are the very, I would say, troubled channels that you have to be cautious about, because they need the money. And every time you need something, or you have to rely on something, it's quite easy to fall, as I said, into the downward spiral and pay or get sponsored videos to make money out of it. So like I said, the smaller channels or the hobby channels, especially from younger YouTubers who are maybe in school still and just don't have to rely that. Of course, if you are young, you are maybe not that mature, and you could be lured into that. But I think I've stretched this topic way too long. But if you want me to talk more about things like these, because I think this is kind of a gray area. Not many YouTubers want to talk about this, because most of them either rely on the money, or they are just too young, or they don't want to actually risk maybe their reputation, or get into bad, how should I say it, into bad relations with other YouTubers. Because I'm pretty sure many YouTubers who would see a video like this from a slightly bigger one talking about the whole scene on YouTube, they could get pissed. But since I don't do any collaborations with anyone, I'm a one-man project, and this will stay like that. And like I said, I'm doing this for a hobby, and since I don't collaborate with some, and I'm definitely maybe not the most social YouTuber, because so many are very big with each other, but I'm the only one here I know in Germany that does videos like this in English and not in German. So I'm kind of a loner on YouTube, and that definitely has some downsides, but it definitely has the upside that I definitely don't see me losing my integrity for any good reason. But yeah, stretching this way too long. I have no idea how long, because this time I have no time or anything, since I don't have the time restriction. But yeah, adding to this topic now, I have something else, and that would be pros and cons of a YouTuber. And this is just from my experience, what I got after about 2.5 years of YouTubing now, what I wanted to talk about, and that would be the pros and cons, like I said. So let's actually start with the pros. Okay, what are the pros? And I can only talk from my size of channel. I'm pretty sure if you are, the bigger you are, the bigger the pros get, but also some of the cons maybe. But I will try to maybe think of that as well, because, okay, let's see it from a smaller channel like me, who's doing no sponsored videos, who's not relying on the money and all that. So what do I personally get from YouTube? I get the interaction with you. I really like that, to share my opinion, and some people don't like it, some like it, and at least the last few weeks and months, I get really nice comments and really great positive feedback from you, and I have conversations with you, and this is something that I appreciate. So that is one thing. The second thing is, of course, tech. I get to play with tech, but this is also something that you have to, I would say, reach a certain level. I actually was luckily enough to reach that quite early. Okay, as you did see, maybe this was quite a quiet week because I only made 2 videos. The Z3 Plus review and the Z4 tablet review, both quite outdated devices, because I'm right now at a dry season. I think I will get to make a little bit more videos in the, I would say starting maybe at May. Then I could get the G5, the HTC 10, the P9 and all these. But I think I have to get a little bit through a drought right now, which is okay. I still have 2 laptops to review. But as I said, I am unfortunate enough to get to play with things that I absolutely wouldn't be able to without being a YouTuber. I get to play with laptops, with smart ones, which makes it way easier to choose my next one every time. I get to play with tablets. I get to play with some like headphones sometimes and smaller gear. Of course, I would definitely wish to expand that. And right now, I was a little bit in contact with Logitech to maybe see if I can get some of their gaming headsets, mice and all that, and I hope this will work out. I hope to know more maybe Monday or Tuesday, and then I'm also in contact with LG so I can get to review their monitors. It doesn't seem not possible. The only issue is here on the monitors. Monitors are big and heavy, and LG doesn't pay for the shipping back, unlike, for example, Samsung did or Dell. So it will be way more expensive for me to get the shipping back, because I'm not quite sure, let's say 20 euros for the shipping back of a monitor. And these videos don't make 20 or euros, which is super lame, I get it. But if these videos would at least make up for what I pay for shipping, sometimes it would be already good, but it doesn't. So that is actually kind of maybe already the downside for a smaller one. You have to pay for the shipping back if you get the device, but it definitely gets outweighed by the pro of getting the things in first in line. So the next thing is, that's already kind of the pros. I get to play with devices, which is nice. I get to interact with you. I learn something new every time, because if that's useful, if you are, for example, now a newer YouTuber, then it's super helpful, because I learned to use a camera, which I never did before. I got to know something more about audio, lighting and all that. And if you are now planning to do this maybe as a job in the future, this is super helpful. And this is definitely, if you are looking for any job in some kind of media thing, get into YouTube. And if you the little you learn, it will be helpful at some point. So I definitely see this as a pro, not for me, but it definitely is. Now let's talk about the cons. Of course, like I said, a little bit the shipping costs, but that's not a big thing. Having no free time, that is definitely one. Because, of course, it's important for you to see what's important. Because I wouldn't waste, or let's say, it sounds a little bit odd, but I wouldn't waste my free time if it wouldn't be worth it. Because for me it is. Because I get to play with the tech, I get to make videos, and getting the positive feedback. This is actually the next pro, the positive feedback. Because if I get a video out and I'm personally happy with it, and then I get positive feedback, that gives me a good feeling about it, and that is great. So another pro would have been, I learned a lot of people. I got to learn a lot of people on the internet, not maybe in real life, but still, after all, these are some kind of online friendships, and that is definitely a pro. The con, then, like I said, no free time, a lot of stress, because especially me having a full-time job, and then doing this quite heavily these days in the free time, where I spend quite a lot of time. And actually, the one thing is, if you just see the effort or the time for the reviews, that's actually doesn't sound too bad. But reviewing the product is quite a lot, because reviewing a laptop needs a lot of time. I have to just use the laptop a lot, the tablet as well. Phones are a little bit easier because you use them pretty much as you do on a normal phone. But yeah, so pros and cons. If you are maybe a younger YouTuber, let me know, or an older YouTuber, doesn't matter. Let me know your pros and cons, because I think I pretty much forgot a lot. I think there must be more, because if you just see these few things, pros and cons, it doesn't really sound that compelling. Of course, you have to be passionate about tech. That is pretty much the one big thing. I wouldn't be passionate about tech, the cons of the stress because I usually have like 2 weeks to get a review done with the reviewing and all that, besides the job, and no free time, especially the weekends are gone pretty much and all that. So it sounds off, but you really have to be passionate about it. But as I said, it really depends what kind of YouTuber you are. If you are young and still in school, this is a great opportunity. It's definitely a good investment, I would say, because then you can make something of that. And I would have been happy if I would have been born in a time where this was way more advanced, because when I was in school, YouTubing or something like that wasn't even be heard of. Not even the internet was probably invented. So I would have been happy in a time where I could have gone into this. Of course, I'm not sure if at that point, if I would have been into tech and all like that, but it's definitely great for every young man. And if you want to make a job of it, then I think you will have a little more ups and downs, because ups, you will have definitely more interaction with the people, which can also be a downside. You get a lot more products to play with. You don't really have to beg for everything. You get just things. But there are downsides. You have to stay honest, which sometimes can be hard. Since you are relying, you have to be good, because otherwise it won't work out and you could end out without a job. But if you have a little bit of a bigger channel already, there are chances that you can get picked up by someone else. So this is definitely something cool. Okay, next topic. It's odd. I thought at first I have only 2 topics or like 4 topics. It won't get me through the time. And this video will be super short. And I have no idea how long this one actually is. Oh, this couldn't add so bad. So, justifying the purchase and why. I see this so many times. Viewers have a product already, and then they start watching videos, and I've talked about this already a few times already, and then to try to justify their purchase or to feel good about it, because this is something very odd. I saw this, I think last week. Someone bought on May 8th, and then he watched my review and he said, wow, that's the best review because I own the device. I thought, what? It's just the best device or the best review because I said something good about the device and you have it. That makes you feel good, I guess. But and I would like to know from you, this is a question from you. Are you someone who watches reviews of the product he bought right after it and then maybe comments, and if he is happy with it and he sees some negative comments on a review, do you get pissed, or do you have to comment that and try to make it sound better? Because this is something that I also saw on a laptop last week. Someone bought a laptop and he liked it, but he saw negative stuff, and then he said, no, you see this wrong. These things are good and this is good. So he maybe saw, he's talking bad about something that I have to kind of be good about it and feel good about it and just try to convince him otherwise, which definitely doesn't work for me. I think what I think, and you can tell me whatever you want. It won't change my opinion. But I am personally someone who usually, what I do is, if I want a product, I watch a lot of reviews beforehand, so I know if the device is good. And during the period that I maybe order it and wait for it to get shipped and it arrives, this is the time where I watch a lot of videos, which doesn't make any sense because I already bought it, but this is because I'm excited to get this device and I want to know a little bit more about it and all that. But after I've actually gotten any device, after I bought it on my own, I don't watch the reviews anymore. Because why? Because I'm a reviewer on my own, and the only opinion that is important at the end for me is my own. And if I see, for example, the Galaxy S7, I see all the things that I like, and now someone could make a video and trash this device completely. He could talk smack about it. He could talk so much and point out many flaws. I wouldn't care if it doesn't bother me already, because it was, for example, Juan Carlos Bagnell tells this already. He says, I could make you love a device after you've bought it, or I could make you regret it really early. And for me, that wouldn't work, because I know if I see a device or use a device, review a device for my own, I already know all the cons. And if I don't maybe see one and someone points it out, I say, okay, he's right. But if I didn't find it on my own, it's definitely not big enough that it would actually bother me, so it won't. But too many people still have this feeling, I bought something, I paid a lot of money, now I have to feel good about it. And I would like to get an explanation from you. Do you think the same, and do you know why people think like that? Because I kind of get it, because if you pay a lot of money, you want something good. But in the end, you have to like it. It could be complete other bullshit for everyone else. But if it does the job for you, if you like it a lot, where's the problem? So, audience retention of the last rambling. I think I said 70% that I would check that back because, like I said, 50-minute videos and only the hardcore guys would watch it. And usually I have an audience retention of, let's say, 20% on a normal rambling, which is not great, but for a rambling I get it, because here it will be even worse this time because I think I've completely fucked up this video in terms of length. Let me actually quickly check the length, not to get completely shocked. I shouldn't say the word, but oh fuck, 31 minutes again. Actually not that terrible, but considering I only talked about 3 topics so far, it is fucked up. Sorry for the cursing, but yeah. So the audience return, I checked it just before making the video, 21.4%, and considering this video was so long, this is not bad. What I made of it in terms of money is a complete joke, but ramblings are not about making money. I definitely wouldn't make these videos, because if I would have to think of the hourly rate putting these in, because it's still rambling, especially today with the longer setting up and all that, would, let's say 5 hours or 4 hours it would take me to make this video, and what I got, that would end bad. I can't really say the number because I think it's not allowed really to say out what I earned, but let's say less than $50. Oh man, that's so bad. Okay, the last topic, and actually maybe that's not that bad because I covered the tech topics I wanted to talk about, and the last thing is I watched last week The Revenant. Here's my mini review if you care about this, because I said that I want to include some things outside of tech. So, The Revenant, what did I think of it? First of all, I think the movie was good. I enjoyed it watching, but it's definitely not a movie that I would ever watch again. But I usually don't watch videos a second time. Now, about the acting of Leonardo DiCaprio. Did he deserve an Oscar? I definitely think absolutely not. No. He didn't make a bad job. He did a great job. He acted kind of nice, but I think I'm sure it was maybe it was cracked or it was screen rant, but they pointed it out perfectly, because there was a video of actors that should have deserved an Oscar, but not for that movie that they got it, but actually a different one. And they said, of course, and I agree with them, Leonardo DiCaprio should have already gotten an Oscar for Gilbert Grape, but he got it for The Revenant. I don't think that one was the right choice, because, like they said it, he didn't really act, but he reacted, because he was suffering for all the things. He had a hard time, he almost died and all that. And I'm not spoiling the movie or something like that, but he had not really that much acting, because he almost didn't have to learn any text. He didn't have to really interact with too many people. It was pretty much only him, and he did it great. The whole emotions and the video itself was amazingly done. The directing was great. The camera views were great. The music was great. It was pretty much only one song, but this the whole time. So the theme was very intense, and I really liked the movie for that. But his acting, not saying it was bad at all, it was still, after all, great, but it was just not enough of a role, actually, to be Oscar worthy. But that's pretty much it. I enjoyed the movie. It was nice. The role of Tom Hardy was a complete, utter bullshit, because they didn't need to waste the time or the talent of a guy for this role. The role didn't need a Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is a great actor, but the role that he had no potential at all. I didn't see that. It was also a quite weak character in general. What did he do? Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but it was definitely not worth it. So let's talk about something else coming soon. Like I said, there will be a review of the Latitude, I think 5470, so the 5000 series. I reviewed the 7000 series, liked it a lot. The 5000 series is not bad, but the 7000 series this time is way better. The last time when I reviewed it last year, I thought actually the 5000 series was the better purchase, because in terms of value it was a lot better, and the 7000 series wasn't that much better, but this time I think it's a little bit different. Then I also finally got something again from Lenovo, the Lenovo Yoga 900. 13.3 incher, definitely a decent device, quite a nice laptop, but way too overpriced. At least the configuration that I got, and at least here in Germany. Other than that, I hope to get good news from Logitech soon, also from LG, because I would really like to review more monitors and stuff like this, because like I said, I wanted to expand into the PC market a little bit more. That would be nice, even though I'm not a real PC guy in terms of reviews, because I noticed one thing. PC related reviews on my channel don't work at all, because I think PC guys who watch these videos, they search for something different. They want something like a specific group wants something like Linus, and some want something like Paul's Hardware, Awesome Hardware, or Jay's 2 cents, and I can't even compete with them at all. I'm not even in the same spectrum, because they are so high up top, and I'm not even on the ground, I'm below the ground if I compare something like this, because they have so much more knowledge, because they do, I did PC builds for years, but just that, I didn't really get into the specifics. I didn't do custom water cooling. I did water cooling a while back ago, which actually back then was kind of already custom cooling. It was a passive one without any fans at all, but this is like 15 years ago or something like that, and I just didn't make it commonly enough or more often, so I definitely can't compete. I don't have the knowledge at all. I'm trying to keep up to get at least to know something like that, but this is something that this channel won't ever be a PC channel. It will have some PC things from time to time if I get something, or if I maybe over time get a few more of these, but that's pretty much it. And then yeah, the style. I would like to actually know if you can give me some feedback on the recent review style that I had on the last few videos, where I have this overview style and then the detail part with the conclusion, because I personally like it a lot. I noticed one thing, and I think John Matthews said that he finds it nice that I streamlined the reviews a little bit more. They are now a little bit shorter, and I definitely like the approach. I also like the kind of B-roll that I add, so I'm definitely a little bit more happier with the end product. The one thing that I think I've said it last time I have to work on is the conclusion, because that one is a little bit more something that just comes up at that moment, and I didn't really prepare so much for that, so that's it. So this video is way too long. I'm not gonna edit any words that you could mention that you've seen this video. If you did, I think I will know by the comment. And I also wanted to tell you one thing. I appreciate all the people that just watch these videos and give them a like, because like the first comment said, there are people that just watch them but aren't really usually people that comment, and I totally get that, because there are only a few channels where I actually comment on. Usually I really watch their content and I really enjoy it, but I think they said pretty much all there is to say, and there are so many people commenting on it that I don't think I have to add something to that, or I don't have something to add to that, because I usually only add something or add a comment if I think I can make something and add something to the discussion here, or something like that, or maybe correct something like that, or give my opinion if I feel his one was completely different, then I want to just share mine with him so we can discuss that. But if I just agree with the content and liked it, I usually don't comment. And I get it if a few do this here, but it would actually be nice, especially something like this. This is something that means a lot to me. If I get a comment like the one that I read out before that says, I'm usually a watcher, I usually don't comment, but this time I thought I would. Because I got, like, let's say, since I'm doing the ramblings, I got maybe only like 5 of these, but these 5 meant so much for me, because seeing someone getting out of his way, usually just watching the content, being a passive viewer and getting active, saying me that he loves the content, saying that he appreciates the work that I put into it, appreciating my honesty and my opinion and all that, this is actually more worth than just reading someone telling me great review or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I will end this video. I appreciate it once again. I like this, and I wish you a nice weekend. It is, what is it actually? Oh, it's already 3 p.m. on Saturday. This is odd. I didn't wake up that late. Why is it so late already? Where did I lose so much time? Oh, I'm missing like 2 or 3 hours. Okay, did I play with the setting for that long? I hope not. Okay, that was it. And if you notice one thing, if I'm being more relaxed because I actually have something that I can put my feet on this time. So I'm sitting like I would almost sit in a chair watching a video, a movie, and I'm way more calm, I think. This is something that I do, and that makes it definitely worth of this different setup. I will maybe have to optimize it, make it a little bit easier for me to get it done every time, because changing the camera angle here, changing the light, setting this microphone up is a lot of work. But I think after all, it makes me way more comfortable in front of the camera, way more casual, way more calm, and I think I preferred it definitely. I enjoy it more, because the other one where I was sitting way more up straight, because actually, let me try this. I would usually sit like this. This is like I usually sit if I have the other setup, maybe like this. But I think during this video I was like this, so way more comfortable. And I think I just completely distorted the audio. I hope the audio was good. The video will be a little bit less because the camcorder has off colors. I'm not quite sure why I can't get nearly the colors that I get on my, no, it's actually here, on my Panasonic G7. I definitely like that one a lot more in terms of the quality for the ramblings. And you could ask yourself now, why didn't you use that? Because it's, yeah, something that I maybe didn't think of. Okay, I would have to change the plate here, but just put it here on this tripod, but actually there's not something that speaks against it. So, okay, yeah, the time limit. I would have definitely crossed that already, because I will get the micro off. Check this once again. I am at 42 minutes, so not that much better than last time. Please don't hate me, please don't unlike this video, or dislike this video. Until next time, bye. I love you guys, I love you. Okay, next time, bye.